After 3 years, the follow-up to the open-world zombie game State of Decay is back. The original game set itself apart as the only open-world undead survival game after years and years of clamoring for GTA with zombies. Studio Undead Labs have certainly delivered on that demand, but not without some shambling in the wrong direction. Both newcomers and veterans alike will appreciate what works and lament over what doesn't. The core gameplay loop is solid, as well as the melee combat, gunplay, RPG elements, and base building, all working fairly well. You start off by picking one of 3 regions, set up camp, and get to grinding up your defenses and resources. Things start out well enough with a nice bit of exposition in the tutorial, but things quickly go sideways. This may have been to cut down on production time, but a distinct lack of goals or narrative structure are sorely missed from State of Decay 1. There are no characters to talk to, no cutscenes, no plot, and no clear goal beyond surviving. After 30 hours or so of grinding, I hadn't made any serious progress into the endgame, and only then did a faint glimmer of a story begin to shine through. State of Decay 1, even with its fragmented narrative, at least grounded you in your cast of characters in the world with stakes and a goal. Abandoning that leaves State of Decay's story in a vacuum. Other design drags dogpile what should be a better experience than its predecessor. Maps are uninspired and lack anything like landmarks or interesting architecture. The Middle American setting is dreary. A smattering of homes, strip malls, and warehouses aren't fun to explore, and the maps themselves feel too large with too much useless space. It feels almost like they were filling out the map to artificially inflate the amount of time it would take to complete actions in the game. Almost all your time will be spent driving, looting, and delivering packages. So much so that you will develop a spiritual resentment for the concept of the postal system. To make matters worse, the gas mileage on the few cars you get is terrible, requiring constant refueling. Not to mention the clunky physics and getting constantly stuck on objects. Base building offers some interesting distractions, but it never feels like you can push things to their full potential. Space is limited, and you can only build a handful of facilities. And this is a problem because an infirmary, workshop, and farm are all essential. This leaves you with only 1 or 2 extra spaces to build a specialized facility like a gym or a shooting range. The million-dollar question is, why can't you have multiple bases? If you had some kind of goal beyond surviving to orient you, it would make all the game's shortcomings less apparent. A game like Telltale's Walking Dead series has the opposite problem, as it's packed with drama, but none of the exploration, combat, or survival elements of the zombie genre. State of Decay's one new offering is Blood Plague, viral zombies that can infect and ultimately turn you to the ranks of the dead. This, however, is never really a threat, as you start the game with a cure and the ingredients to make it readily available. You'll also have to take out plague hearts, big pulsating mounds of undead grossness, but this proves not to be much of a challenge and comes without substantial reward for the trouble. There are now also human enemies in the form of fellow survivors, but you only get into that kind of trouble if you go looking for it. The addition of co-op into the game is solid, as it'll give you someone to talk to, and a much easier way of building up your base by way of collecting supplies en masse. There are some other bright spots, like tricking your cars out Mad Max style, but a game that feels like it's begging for customization doesn't even make the attempt. Where gun attachments, custom outfits, and base building swag could have offered hours of diversion, there's just you, a rucksack full of lima beans, and the loop of house to base and back again.
Nothing again.
What's more is those returning to the franchise will see these shortcomings in painful focus after having multiple playthroughs of State of Decay 1's campaign and its fantastic DLC, Lifeline. Undead Labs didn't even bother to put in any new enemy types, and this is just one of the many questionable decisions they made in the development process. Though they are offering the game at a lower price point, only $30, I would wait to see if patches or content drops make this more worth your time and money. I'm giving State of Decay 2 a 7 out of 10.